What's going on, everybody? How's everyone doing today? Thank you for tuning in real quick. This is your boy Jig. Thanks for watching Jig Health TV. Trying to help my viewers understand and witness what happens in the absence of eating food. How much weight can you lose? What's going on with the body? So, January is behind us. January's finished. I survived January. You know, I did a 30-day water fast for the month of January 2021 because I'm on a journey trying to get rid of all this excess body fat and correct some underlying conditions, you know, like type 2 diabetes and things, hypertension and whatnot. And I have to tell you, I'm happy January is over. I have my results for you, how much weight I've lost. So stick around for a little while and you'll see, you know, all the different weight levels milestones that I've broken throughout the month. All right. But real quick, just so you know, if you decide to do a fast, the first 1 or 2 days is going to be the hardest for you. The first day or two, because you got to think all the years that you've been eating, you're accustomed to eating. Right? We all are. And when you tell yourself, I'm not going to eat for X amount of hours, you know, you're going to go through some kind of some changes there. You know, we're used to having breakfast, lunch, dinner, and quite a few snacks throughout the day. Some juice, some sweet tea, some sodas, some cookies, some potato chips. You know, we eat a lot of different things throughout the day, all of us. And that's how we got fat over the years. Remember, I was as big as 348. You see that picture of me right there? I was a big boy. But January 1st is when I really wanted to go heavy on this fasting. You have intermittent fasting, and then you have prolonged fasting. Intermittent fasting is basically when you just restrict a few hours of not eating, and then you eat in a small hour balance that's remaining in the 24-hour clock. So, you know, most people, like I told you in the past, you have dinner at 6, 7 p.m. You wake up, you sleep. After you watch TV, stretch, whatever, you go to bed. You wake up in the morning and you have breakfast 6, 7, 8 o'clock a.m. So you've already went through like a 12, 13, maybe even a 14-hour fast, depending on how early you ate your dinner and how late you had your breakfast. But most people fast between 10 hours and 14 hours daily. So we all fast on a regular basis. There's a time to eat and then there's a time to fast. And that's why the word breakfast is break your fast, because you have to feed. But there's a lot that happens in the body. If you see some of my other videos, I explain the different changes that happen within the body on a molecular level. You feel me? On a cellular level. Because there's a lot of diets, and all diets work. Some of them are calorie restriction, and you know, they say just reduce your portions and stuff. Some say eat every 3-4 hours to keep your metabolism going. That's not accurate information. Calorie restriction is pretty decent. However, you don't want to restrict your calories so much, because you will eventually slow down how many calories your body will burn. Your BMR will change if you restrict your calories too much. But you have keto diet, you have the paleo diet, you have smoothie diets, you have Atkins, you have carnivore, you have Weight Watchers, which is a big one. But the difference between fasting and those different diets are, those different diets, you're still eating foods, whether it be proteins and fats, whether it be proteins, fats, and carbs, whether it be low carbs. And everything we eat, remember, it spikes the insulin within our body. Our pancreas responds by spiking insulin, because if there's all those carbs, any carbs in those meals and drinks and sugars and things, the pancreas's job is to secrete the insulin to help get the blood sugar and everything out of the blood. And the liver's job is to push out glycogen, you know, to take those sugars and help distribute them through the body and handle the glucose that we deal with. But if you're trying to burn fat, You have to keep your sugars down. You have to keep your carbohydrates down. But more importantly, you have to keep that insulin down. The insulin up is gonna make your body store food energy. It's gonna make you store fat. You're gonna burn some, but you're gonna store some. When your insulin is low, your body's gonna burn fat. So the longer you can keep the insulin low, the more fat you're gonna burn. That makes sense? So if you keep your insulin low for 15 hours, 16 hours, 18 hours, you're gonna burn more fat. If you keep your insulin low for 24, 36, 48 hours, guess what? You're gonna burn even more fat. If you keep it 72 hours, guess what? You're gonna burn that much more fat. But not only are you gonna burn fat, but then you're gonna go through all those changes where your body's gonna produce the human growth hormones that we spoke about in my other videos. HGH is the key element to help build protein, build muscle. So you're gonna retain all your lean muscle while you're burning fat. And HGH, there's studies out that I showed you before that it slows down the aging process. So that's a good thing. Every cell in our body ages. So if you can slow down aging, you can look younger longer. You see? And then you have autophagy, where your body starts to go into this phase. And again, this is all without any food, any calories. Your body starts to recycle those cells. And then you eventually go into apoptosis, where it looks at all the toxic cells in the body, and it starts to destroy those toxic cells, cancer cells, free radicals, toxins in general. And a lot of toxins live in fat. So as you're burning the fat, you're also getting rid of those toxins as well. So those things start to occur. Your body starts to produce stem cells out of the gut. So if you have aches and pains and damaged tissue, those stem cells can go throughout the body and do their job to help repair that pain in the knee, that pain in the ankle, some organ damage, some whatever's going on, some shoulder injury. You're gonna get that stem cell production, and the longer you go through the fast, the more stem cells you're gonna produce naturally. No need to go to Mexico, one of these countries, to get stem cell treatment. Your body's just gonna do it on its own. So again, not to reiterate all the different things, but there's so many things that go on when you let your digestive system go to sleep. Where your stomach can relax. You can clean out your intestines, get rid of all that stored fecal matter. Remember, I shared with you that the average person, depending on how big they are, walks around with 5 pounds to 25 pounds, some cases 30 and 40 pounds of stored feces that's in the colon and in the large intestines that you haven't had a chance to get rid of yet. Sometimes you feel constipated. Sometimes there's so much going on in there, you take a laxative or something to try and loosen up some. But the intestines is a long organ. And that whole tract, I think the intestines like 30, 40, 50 feet long. And that entire piping can be loaded with feces that you haven't gotten rid of. And you eat the next day and you add more to it. You eat the next day and you add more to it. You go to the bathroom, you have a little production, but you still have that whole pipeline backed up with all this waste. So when you're fasting, you're getting rid of that as well. And getting rid of all that byproduct, that waste, just that in itself is going to improve how you feel, because you're going to get all that weight out of you, and get all them toxins out of you, all those nasty gases. You're just going to clean out your entire system. But again, to go into a 30-day fast, I know is not easy. And I told you, I started my fasting regimen last year. And I started with the 2 meals a day, then 1 meal a day, then 1 meal every day and a half. Then I said, let me try 1 meal every 48 hours. And then when I learned through the research that your body starts producing white blood cells, it replaces the old white blood cells, and it replaces them with healthy new white blood cells. And with this corona, your white blood cells is your immune system. So when I learned that, I said 72 hours is the day that your autophagy and your white blood cell production maxes out. So I said I want to do a 3-day water fast. I'm an Uber driver, I'm a Lyft driver out here in Vegas. And I wanted to make sure, because I'm in contact with a lot of people, that my immune system, you feel me, is 100%. You know, I take my zinc and all that, my calcium, my phosphate, things that I've covered in my previous videos. But fasting really, really, really works, all right? Skin cells rejuvenate, your organ cells rejuvenate, your organs start to shrink. You know, your inflammation in your body goes way down, so which helps with your blood pressure and things. If you have any type of swelling in your ankles and in your shins, and all that goes away. It all goes away. Now, it will come back if you go back to eating the way you've been eating. But if you implement this fasting regimen into your lifestyle, then you'll see these improvements. But again, let me get my list here. But just to recap, this is for the month of January. January 1st, I was 302 pounds. By day 3, January 3rd, I was 293.8 pounds. So I had dropped like 9 pounds right there in 3 days, just by not eating for those 3 days. Then by January 4th, day 4, I had dropped down to 289. So the reason why a lot of that weight is going, remember, I'm telling you, I'm cleaning up the fecal matter. You're also getting rid of excess water, and you're also getting rid of some fat. So the first several days, you're going to notice a huge drop in your poundage, because you got to get rid of all those things I just mentioned. But after those first few days, then it'll kind of slow down a little bit. So day 5, I was down to 285.8. Okay, remember, 302 January 1st, day 5, I'm at 285. So a lot of that weight that I got rid of was in my intestines. A lot of it was. So I cleared out my intestines. My stomach immediately started to shrink, which is important too. So you feel good, you don't feel full. Then by day 10, I was 281 pounds. 281.9 to be exact. So I lost a significant amount of weight. I'm over about 20, 21 pounds at this point in 10 days. Can you believe that? You got a dress you want to get into, you got an outfit you want to wear, a suit you want to throw on, and you need to drop 15, 20 pounds. Don't eat for 10 days. You're gonna drop 21 pounds easy, just like that. Women, you know, men tend to drop weight a little bit faster. So women, you might drop 15 pounds in that 10-day window, opposed to the 21 pounds that I dropped. But then look, by day 15, another 5 days, I was down to 275.2. I love it, man. I'm no longer addicted to food. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to eat unless I want to. And because I'm trying to, this is my journey from fat to fit, you know, I want to have my 6-pack. I want to at least have a 4-pack if I can't get a 6-pack by August. But I want to have my 6-pack. I've been fat all my life. I've had my ups and downs, like I said, being in the gym, getting out the gym, working out, diets, you know, liquid diets, juicing diets. I've done a lot of different things. But I finally understand the science of the body, the physiology of the body. Just don't eat. So day 15, I was 275.2. I broke my fast on the 19th, if you saw my other video, because I have family in town and we went out to eat. So I broke it on the 19th. But I didn't weigh myself again until day 22. January 22nd, I was 268 pounds by January 22nd. That was 34 pounds that I lost in 22 days simply by just drinking water only. And I broke it on the 19th, but I immediately went back to a fast. And I started eating like every other day at that point. But I've reset my metabolism. I don't suffer from metabolic syndrome anymore. My metabolism is fast now because it was slow all my life, for most of my life. And because I'm doing what we're doing, I'm doing what I'm doing, if you're doing it with me, you're gonna speed up your metabolism from being a slow metabolism. So whenever you do eat, guess what? Your body's gonna metabolize it. And hopefully you eat sensibly. You don't go back into eating donuts and just ODing and drinking sweet teas and just going crazy. Because no matter what diet you on, even if you have gastric bypass, if you go back to eating crap, there's people that had gastric bypass that got fat again after the surgery. A year later, a year and a half, 2 years later, they big like they never had the surgery. So the whole purpose of the fast is just to reset your body, improve your health, heal your body, heal your organs, heal everything from a molecular level on up, and just change the addiction. Get away from eating all the time. Like I told you, hunter-gatherers, if you look at the animals on the planet, lions, tigers, bears, they don't eat 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day. They eat once a day, once every 2, 3 days sometimes, even once every 4 or 5 days. So the body, in the absence of eating, is just going to tap into that stored food energy, that fat. Just like the refrigerator. Every time you go grocery shop, you put food in the refrigerator, you're going to keep your refrigerator full, right? And I know you got a freezer too. We all have freezers. Some of us have 2, 3 freezers, deep freezers. And in those deep freezers, we also have food, frozen vegetables, frozen meats, fruits, different things. But how often, if you really sit back and think about it, how often do you go into that freezer compared to the refrigerator? You see? The fat on our body is like the deep freezer. And how often are we tapping into it? And that's the real thing, is to get into the deep freezer. So you gotta let that fridge go empty. Let the fridge get empty. Get into that deep freezer. Pull those resources out and cook that food in the deep freezer. Let's burn that fat. Let's tap into the fat that we stored, and let's burn that fat so we can get healthy, we can live long, we can look strong, we can look good. And I'm sure you look good now, even with the weight. So the first thing you got to do is always love yourself. You know that. But imagine how healthier you'll be and how better you'll feel. How those pains and aches in your body will eventually subside and go away, where you feel like you're 21 again. I feel like I'm 26, 27. Yo, fam, people, listen to me. I'm 50 years old. All my skin cells, everything is rejuvenated. I feel amazing. You see? And you should feel amazing too. So I'm doing this, like I said before, I'm documenting my journey. You guys are gonna witness it firsthand, live, real time, me from being a fat person to being a fit person. And am I in the gym? Am I doing 10 miles, 15 miles, walking, running, throwing up a bunch of weight? No, I'm not doing all that. All I'm doing is push-ups. That's it. So February's here. So for February, I'm doing a 10-day fast to start off the month of February. And I'm doing 200 push-ups a day for February. I will start throwing in some walking on my treadmill just to help speed up the process. But I wanted to give you guys an update, let you know how my January turned out, where I am. I want to show you the numbers. My blood pressure numbers are here. My scale, my weight numbers are there. And let's do this February challenge together. And let's get healthy. Let's stay fit. Let's look good, and let's live long. Later, guys.